Do you remember now? Do you remember now? Remember when we were grooving? Remember when love was in the air? And we all were moving to a beat beyond compare. Do you remember when? Can you remember back then? The young world in brotherhood, in search of peace, in need of good. Flower power was everywhere. It changed the world, man, those days were rare. Do you remember when? Can you remember back then? To that age of innocence, you could feel the love commence. Do you remember when? Oh, seems like only yesterday we'd meet in the park and we would play, wearing beads and tie-dye clothes, taking pause and only heaven knows. Do you remember when? Would you do it all again? Though it wasn't perfect, it was perfectly clear that a new time, a new age could possibly appear. There was a spirit undeniably in the air that's sadly missing now when I look around here. Why did the love disappear? Remember when we were grooving and everything was out of sight? We formed a union of our souls. Love and happiness were our goals. Do you remember when? Can you remember back then? The Beatles were forever, Supreme Stones and the Miracles, black and white together, breaking down all color codes. Do you remember when? Can you remember back then? To the time of peace and love, the dawning of Aquarius. Do you remember when? Oh, and all the nights we gather on the streets under city lights, cruising down the avenues, checking out what's happening. Do you remember when? Would you do it all again? Those days are only memories now, treasures we hold dear, of old times and old friends, they'll never disappear. And as for that spirit undeniably in the air, we certainly could use some now, all around here, ain't it clear? Do you remember now? Do you remember now? And though it wasn't perfect, it was perfectly clear that a new time, a new age could possibly appear. And there was a spirit undeniably in the air, and that spirit's missing now when I look around here. We need love around here. Remember when we were grooving? Remember when love was in the air? And we all were dancing to that beat that was everywhere. Everything was out of sight, groovy man and not uptight. Do you remember when?
Remember when?
Can you remember back then?
Remember then?
Can we get that love again?
Love again.
Do you remember when? Do ya? Do ya? Remember?